Hey guys, I'm Elrinth, the first boss, and I welcome you back to another episode. However, we're not gonna call this one 10 games with great music, because I want to test out some new content here on this channel, and it's gonna be very different from previously. I'm gonna do some streaming, and I'm gonna do some top 10 maybe lists, or top lists of stuff. And this specific one is called 25 games, which I'm looking forward to, coming in 2020 or maybe further in the future, we never know. But here we go.
Number 25, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remaster Edition.
This reminds me of Penny Arcade comics, which I used to giggle at back when I was in school for their fun game-related content. I remember playing Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles with a friend back in 2004 on the GameCube. It has this annoying element where one team member very often has to carry the chalice, which clears the air around you from poisonous miasma. The player carrying the chalice can't fight or cast spells until it's put down on the ground. In single player, you have a flying Mog carrying the chalice for you. Besides this flaw, which is still in the final remaster, I am still excited to finally be able to play this game with friends, as it will have cross-platform online multiplayer. It will make it easier to find people to play with. So the platforms it's for is Android, iOS, PS4, Switch, and the release date is to be announced.
Number 24, Halo Infinite.
A guy in a spaceship reels in Master Chief from outer space and sort of revives him. He then explains to our green armored guy that humanity lost the war and shows us a broken space station right outside his ship. The game will feature split-screen multiplayer, and it's a feature I've been longing for. This is another title I hope to play with friends or family. Platforms, Windows and Xbox One. Release date, Q4 2020.
No, we need a fight. Get ready.
Number 23, Mega Man Zero/ZX Legacy Collection.
The Mega Man Zero games are some of the hardest platforming action games I know of. The ZX games remind me more of Metroid and has a much better difficulty curve, in my opinion, and I actually prefer them over the Zero games. But now I can finally get rid of these three and get this one bundle instead. Yay! Pre-order now and get 6 alternative in-game songs plus 4 arrangements by veteran composers to the series, which you can listen to in the game's music player. The platforms it'll be released for is Switch, PS4 and Xbox One, and the release date is February 25th, 2020.
Number 22, Neo 2.
I've never played the original Neo, but it looks like a great Dark Souls contender. This time, I'll try its sequel instead. It's actually already out in Japan. One thing I noticed are the enemy designs. They look absolutely amazing. Check it out. Platforms is PS4 and the release date is March 2020.
Number 21, Half-Life 3 by Volvo. I mean, Half-Life Alyx by Valve.
Got it. I'm with you every step of the way.
This game is the closest thing to Half-Life 3 we're getting. Just remember, you're required to wear a VR kit in order to play it. It looks great and seems to have those Half-Life sound effects we all know and love. I'll be testing this out at a friend, as I don't own a VR kit myself. The platforms it's released on is Windows. The release date is March 2020.
Number 20. Optimus Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4.
I'm a big fan of the Metroid series and was very excited when this Prime 4 teaser was first shown. Nintendo has since come out and said that it didn't meet Nintendo standards. Therefore, the game switched developer from Namco Bandai back to Retro Studios, which made the previous Prime games. The platform it's coming out on is Switch, and the release date is to be announced, but I'm guessing 2021.
Number 19. Bayonetta 3.
Just like Prime 4, all we've seen of Bayonetta 3 is the teaser trailer. There was nothing shown at the Game Awards 2019, but it seems Platinum Games' Hideki Kamiya has gone on Twitter to say development is going well, so hopefully we can see something 2020. Platforms, Nintendo Switch. Release date to be announced.
Number 18. Elden Ring.
From Software, together with George R.R. Martin, famous of Game of Thrones, revealed they are working on a game called Elden Ring. When seeing the trailer, all I can think of is Lord of the Rings. We don't know much, but we know it's From Software's most ambitious action RPG ever. The platforms are question mark, but I'm guessing PS4, Xbox One and PC. The release date is to be announced.
The Elden Ring. Oh, Elden Ring. Shattered by someone or something.
Number 17. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition.
I love the Xenoblade Chronicles series and played through the first and second game. The first game is now getting a graphics update, which is great because the character faces looked super weird in the original game. It's now a must-buy for you Japanese RPG fans who missed out on the original. Besides getting a well-deserved facelift, they are adding a new area called Bionis Shoulder. The platforms it's coming out on is Nintendo Switch, and the release date is May 29th, 2020.
Number 16. Scourgebringer.
I'm a big fan of Celeste, and this looks very similar. However, rather than focusing on platforming alone, this one seems to focus more on combat and defeating enemies and bosses. The music seems metal, which I like a lot in video games, but it needs to be catchy or have fat riffs. We'll see. The platforms it's coming to is PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and the release date is February 6th, 2020. So it's out now. Check it out.
Number 15. Haven.
This game looks a little bit like Breath of the Wild, but it seems to play completely differently. I'm hyped because the music is supplied by a composer nicknamed Danger. The game features two-player co-op, and the battle system seems to be sort of turn-based, but not entirely. It's coming out on the platforms PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows, and its release date is to be announced.
Number 14. Age of Empires 4.
One word. Wololo. No, but seriously, Age of Empires 2 was really popular among me and my friends, and we played against each other and had great fun together back in the old times. Being able to do it again with a new installment would be great fun. Make it happen, Microsoft. The platform is Microsoft Windows and release date is to be announced.
Number 13. Trials of Mana.
I absolutely love the original called Seiken Densetsu 3 for the Super Famicom. We've already been blessed with an official translation for that last year in the collection of Mana. With this new remake of the game, they are adding voice acting as well as changing the combat and movement slightly. It's going to be exciting to see if it plays better than the original. I actually like Seiken Densetsu 3 so much that I feel the game deserves a Final Fantasy VII kind of remake. Anyways, this game is released on the Switch, PS4 as well as Windows. The release date is April 24th, 2020.
Number 12. Doom Eternal.
They are no longer your people to save.
The upcoming Doom game excites me because the previous game we got was amazing. It had probably the most metal music I've heard ever in a game, well, besides Brutal Legend. This new game is bigger than the previous game and features a new dash move allowing our Doom guy to get around much faster. It looks great and I'm excited. Platforms: PS4, Xbox One, PC and Switch. The release date is March 2020 and a later time for the Switch.
Number 11. Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance.
So I'm a big fan of the old Diablo clone Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, which came out on the PS2 and the GameCube. We're getting a new Dark Alliance which is supposed to be a 4-player couch multiplayer just as the old one. The fact they are using Swedish metal band In Flames in their trailer is to me very awesome. Check it out. Platforms? ? Release date fall 2020.
Number 10. Ghost of Tsushima.
Samurai! See, Urudo run!
The ghost.
Many of us already played through the samurai gameplay of Sekiro. Well, besides me, because I'm stuck at the Horned Bull boss, which they actually nerfed since I last played. Anyways, in Ghost of Tsushima we're getting more samurai gameplay, and it's one of the most beautiful trailers last year. The platform is PS4, or maybe a PS5 game. Anyways, the release date is 2020.
Number 9. Cyberpunk 2077.
I'm still playing Witcher 3 and I got excited to play it again after having watching the Netflix show. CD Projekt Red would bring us their latest game later this year. I'm a big fan of the 2000 game Deus Ex, and Cyberpunk 2077 seems to be very similar but more open world. It's coming out on Windows, Google Stadia, lol, Xbox One, and PS4. The release date is 16th April 2020.
Number 8. Bushidan.
It's no secret that I'm a big fan of action platformers. Bushidan is just that, an absolutely beautiful action platformer. I'm getting some Ikaruga vibes, switching between black and white, but in this case orange and blue. It looks very vibrant and colorful, and I'm at awe at the visuals. One thing I'm not impressed with is the fact that the character needs to do a somersault every time you jump, but it's a small nitpick. Music seems awesome as well. The platforms are Nintendo Switch, Steam, as well as PS4. The release is August 2020.
Number 7. Bravely Default 2.
I actually never finished the first two Bravely games, but I liked them a lot. Everyone's confused we're getting a Bravely Default 2 instead of a Bravely 3rd. But it's not the first time Square has had us confused with game names. Octopath Traveler was my favorite game of 2018, and this game is being developed by the same team, so I'm confident it's going to be great fun. Platform, Nintendo Switch. Release date to be announced.
Number 6. Tales of Arise.
Finally, a Tales game which gets a visual upgrade. I've actually just recently finished Tales of Vesperia on the Switch, which I had great fun with. I can highly recommend it to JRPG fans. Regarding Arise, they've actually not announced the music composer, so we can assume that this would be the first Tales game not composed by Motoi Sakuraba, which is insane. The platforms are Windows, PS4 and Xbox One. Release date to be announced.
自由に生きるためだ。
まさに道なき道ね。私は行くわ。あなたたちが私に協力するというなら。
Number 5. Ori and the Will o' the Wisps.
The first Ori game, Ori and the Blind Forest, was a tight 2D action platformer. Now the same team developing its sequel has hired Dr. M64. Dr. M64 is famous for making Metroid AM2R, which is in my opinion better than Nintendo's own attempt at remaking Metroid 2. So I'm assuming this is going to be one of the best 2D action platformers ever. And this game went gold 29th January, so you can play it very soon. Platforms are Xbox One and Windows. The release date is February 11th, 2020.
Number 4. Shantae and the Seven Sirens.
The first part of this game is actually already out on iOS and macOS. The second part of the game will release with other platforms. I've played the previous Shantae games on 3DS and Wii U and I love them. Weirdly enough, Jay Kaufman doesn't return to make music in this one. Instead the credited ones are Kentaro Sakamoto, Mark Sparling, Madeleine Lim and Gavin Allen. Platforms this game is coming out on is Microsoft Windows, Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, iOS, Mac OS X. Release date is 2020.
Number 3. Cyber Shadow.
I'm a big fan of Shatterhand, and this game looks like a complete love letter to that in combination with Blue Shadow and Ninja Gaiden, of course. The soundtrack sounds amazing, and the art and visuals remind us of the best days in the NES era, and so much more. I'm excited to see that Jay Kaufman is producing the music, and the guy called Enrique Martin is making it. The platform is PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Windows, and the release date is to be announced.
Number 2. Final Fantasy Remake.
Final Fantasy VII was the game which everyone at school played, even those who barely played games before. Most played on the PS1, but I played the PC version, and I still have my original copy on my shelf. I'm so stoked about the remake, it's hard to explain. Uematsu is on the team, so the soundtrack is going to be the best Final Fantasy soundtrack ever. We can expect a remake demo closer to launch. From all the content they've released so far, I know I love this game. One little thing I wish they'd added was 3-player co-op, as now the game is in real time and it would fit perfectly. From what I understand, this game is basically the first CD of the PlayStation 1 Classic, but fleshed out a lot. Platforms are PS4, Xbox One and Windows. And the release date was originally slated for March 2020, but it's been pushed back to April 10th, 2020.
Super Mario Brothers 2 again, baby! Super Mario Brothers 2! Oh, it's still the king! Still the king after all these years!
Or not.
Number 1. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2.
Zelda is life, and life is Zelda. I'm predicting this game is being shoved to 2021 together with a Switch Pro, as now Nintendo's come out and told us there's no plans for any new revisions this year. I have so many things I wish they did with the first Breath of the Wild, which I hope they can incorporate in this game. Here's a few tips, Nintendo. Fill in more music this time. Use famous composers like Nobuo Uematsu, Yasunori Mitsuda or Yasunori Nishiki. Make the villain more active in the story, rather than just sit in his castle and do nothing. Also, tell the story in a more linear fashion, rather than just using memories. And revise the equipment durability system. Add multiplayer and give Zelda an AI, and let you flip between Zelda and Link, if playing single player. Maybe add 2 new heroines as sidekicks to make it a 4-player game. Anyways, it's coming out on the Switch, and the release date is to be announced, and I'm predicting 2021.
So that's 25 games I'm looking forward to. Which games are you looking forward to? Please let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. See you guys!